My name is Sid Haas. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at LKCS, and today's webinar is going to focus on Transpromo statement marketing and why it's something that if you're not already taking advantage of, you should be. We'll show you lots of examples of how you can turn your statements into effective marketing pieces without driving up the cost. So we'll talk about that further as we go. For those of you not familiar with LKCS, we've been working with financial institutions since 1961. We provide a wide variety of marketing and communication services for our clients, ranging from traditional print and mail services all the way through, a lot of electronic services, email marketing, web design, social media marketing, and obviously statements is a huge piece of our business. We process statements and e-statements now for over 200 financial institutions each month, and we're picking up a few new clients each month as well. So we hope to be working with you soon. To jump into the content of the presentation, I just want to explain what Transpromo marketing is. Transpromo is an industry term. It's one of those new buzzwords, I guess. That's a compound expression, formed from the words transaction and promotional. And the concept behind Transpromo marketing is that we are piggybacking ads and promotions with your transactional documents, your statements, your notices, for non-financial institutions, your invoices, those types of things. And we're taking, we have the ability, and then lots of other vendors certainly have the ability to look at that statement data and mine data out of the statements and out of other files to identify, relevant targets for these ads and messages. And the biggest advantage of Transpromo marketing is certainly that ability to take advantage of the postage you're already paying when delivering your statements. The postage cost is the highest piece of that delivery, and obviously the driving factor behind electronic statements. We'll be talking about e-statements in depth as well, because everything we're talking about with Transpromo marketing is just as effective, if not even more effective, on your electronic statements. But the biggest value that you're receiving, from your paper statements, your printed statements, is the fact that you can incorporate all of these messages and all of these advertisements without paying additional postage. So the first benefit that you receive with Transpromo marketing is to improve the clarity of your statements. Your statements can be much easier to read and understand. If you haven't already reformatted your statements, it's something that you need to do. Obviously, the fonts and layouts and heading styles and all sorts of other options, are available for you to change the look and feel of your statement. And you'll find that immediately reduces your account holders' issues and complaints. Just making that statement easier to understand will reduce the number of people that call, or contact you regarding questions. Reformatting and this ability to improve the look of the statement also simplifies compliance requirements, because we can add disclosures, messages and privacy policies, and, all sorts of different notifications on the fly when they are needed. So when we see specific, items in the statement, we can trigger whatever, compliance message or disclosure you need as part of that statement. So when we talk about statement design, LKCS can actually prepare your statements in just about any format or layout imaginable. I'm going to show you several during the presentation today, but that certainly is not the limit of our design, and reformatting capability. So if you have a statement that you like from your existing institution, from another financial institution, from a mortgage company, a mutual fund, investment company, anything like that, show it to us and we can incorporate, a similar layout into your statements as well. So when we talk about reformatting, what we're talking about is, rather than your statements looking like the example on the left, just as if they came out of the, your core system, which obviously meets the need, the requirement of sending a statement, to your account holders, it looks like a computer-generated document, which is exactly what it is. You know, a programmer programmed this statement to meet that regulatory requirement, but didn't really care about how easy it was to read, what it looked like, if it supported, you know, the credit union's brand or anything like that. The same statement could look like the one on the right. And obviously you can see how we can begin to incorporate, you know, some advertising messages. We can make that statement easier to read, separate out the accounts, support the branding, and all those other advantages of reformatting. Obviously, that's not the only potential layout, you know, for any of your statements. So here are just two others, just showing differences in, you know, styles of headings and, you know, how we can call out, you know, certain boxes on the statements and different things like that. These are all, you know, these can all be custom designed and adjusted for each of our clients to meet your specific needs and desires. And we can do the same thing for other types of documents. So while I just showed a few account statements, obviously we can do the same thing for daily notices, credit card statements, invoices, you know, all sorts of different things. So, you know, any type of document that you're sending out can be reformatted and made to look a lot better and easier for your customers to understand. The second benefit of Transpromo marketing, and you've already seen some of this, is that, you know, your statements can strengthen your brand image and create a competitive distinction. You know, all of the branding work that you're doing, you know, with all of your marketing activities can be reinforced with your statements. Your statement is a regular monthly or quarterly communication with all of your account holders. It may be the only regular communication that they see potentially. So it needs to reinforce that brand message. Obviously, your statements can be used to educate account holders about your advantages, about your products, your services, things like that. Everything can be kept consistent, and your statement can truly separate you from your competitors. And I'll show you an example of that moving forward as well. Excuse me, I've obviously come down with a cold, so I apologize. As you look at, you know, the design of your statements, one of the things, you know, the options that you have now is to add some color. So obviously you can see the difference in the look of that statement between the statement on the left and the statement on the right, and you can see how these advertisements, you know, these ad messages or marketing messages jump off the page. When we add some color, we can separate different sections of the statement for more clarity. And the important thing here to realize is we're not necessarily recommending adding color to your paper statements, but when we talk about adding color, it doesn't cost more to add color to your e-statements. It doesn't cost any more for us to display color on screen, you know, through a website, a secure website, to your account holders via an electronic statement, where that statement could cost more and would cost more had it been printed in color. But there's no reason to avoid color, you know, especially as you drive more and more of your account holders to e-statements. Here are two other examples just to show you. The financial institution on the left is fairly small. The financial institution on the right is very large. So it can give you an idea of how you can level the playing field, you know, between you and your competitors potentially, just in the look of that statement. And when it comes to e-statements, I just wanted to show you that it's important for you to brand not only your home banking site, but your e-statement pages as well. I use the example on the top right as just kind of a generic online banking system. There's really no identity there for that particular financial institution. You know, you click on e-statements and see just the same blue and gray, you know, e-statement presentation without supporting that financial institution's branding at all. The e-statement below happens to be one by LKCS, and it's actually one of my personal statement at one of our credit unions, but it shows how we can support, you know, the branding of that credit union. A question came in, can we put a live link on the e-statement? And the answer to that is yes. There's a number of different ways that we can incorporate links into the e-statements, and I'll be showing some examples of that as we move forward. Here's another example of just some of the e-statement pages and how we have the ability to brand those pages, changing fonts and colors and, some of the layout elements, even incorporating, obviously, in this case, some mobile apps for this particular client, to promote those even before we display the statement. And we can have live links again from the statement itself, but we can also incorporate live links from these either a landing page, which I'll show you examples of, or in this case, just after the member in this case logged in and they're presented with their list of statements, we have the ability to present some banner ad images to link to their different apps. And if you don't believe your statements can differentiate you in your market, I'd like to point out what Discover Card is doing via a national ad campaign. If you haven't seen it, they've been promoting this now for several months, but they've been promoting the fact that they're incorporating FICO credit scores on their statements. And it's actually driven a substantial amount of business to them and called attention to their statements, something I've never seen before in a nationwide campaign. The third benefit of Transpromo marketing is that you're giving your account holders what they want. People actually prefer to receive a personalized statement with ads and messages that are relevant to their financial situations. They want to know that you understand them, and it gives you that opportunity to generate new business at less cost. And Transpromo gives you all of that together. And I want to jump to the fourth benefit because the third and fourth benefits are closely related. And the fact is that with the fourth benefit with Transpromo marketing is that you can face far less competition for consumer attention. If you think about your account holders and how many different advertising messages they see through the course of a day, whether it's watching a TV commercial, hearing a radio ad, reading a newspaper or a magazine, driving past a billboard. I mean, we all see dozens, if not hundreds, of advertising messages each and every day. And yet we know that 90% of people look at their transactional documents, look at their statements and e-statements and invoices, at least according to the USPS, even if that number is inflated, by the Postal Service through their surveys, even if that number is 50% of consumers, there's a lot more people looking at these transactional documents than are looking at direct mail pieces and emails that are sent out. The average person, like I said, is bombarded with these ad messages each day, and if they are spending 3 to 5 minutes looking at their statements, as all research indicates, it's obviously important. Your advertising message is going to be important to them. They're going to actively look for those messages month after month and quarter after quarter if they are relevant to each of your account holders. So when we talk about Transpromo marketing, there are a lot of different options that we have. And we have the ability to selectively market to different account holders, and we can do that in a variety of different ways. So we can do that via demographics, such as age and gender and income. We can do it via psychographics, looking at members' lifestyles, looking at account holders' interests. And those, both demographics and psychographics, we can purchase for you and append them to your list of account holders, so we can use all those different characteristics to trigger these ad messages. Ad messages and marketing can be triggered via credit history. It can be obviously triggered by the type of account holder, whether it's a business account or a personal account. Account relationships, what accounts do people have? What accounts don't they have? What balances are these people carrying? What types of activity do we see? Do we see loan payments being made to other financial institutions? Where do these people live? And any other conditions that we can find in your statement data, or any other conditions you can provide in a separate file. So maybe you have a relationship with a third-party company for investments, or you're purchasing a list from somewhere else, or you have a rewards program, for example, that isn't part of your statements now and you want to incorporate it with the statements. We can take that data from those separate files and incorporate that into your statements. Even if we don't print it, we can use it as conditions to trigger this marketing, or in the case of like rewards points and things like that, we can incorporate that data and blend it right into the statement. So when we talk about what marketing options you have, we have non-selective marketing options, meaning that everybody that receives a statement is going to receive the same message. In that case, we would do that via envelope messaging and backprinting, for example. That's just a technology that everybody would receive the same envelope. When we send out email notifications regarding e-statements, those are typically the same for each recipient, but they can still incorporate information about your latest products and promotions and specials and things like that. And the e-statement landing and login pages, obviously, especially before an account holder were to log into e-statements, they would see the same landing page. So in that case, we can incorporate marketing messages in these areas, but every account holder is going to see the same thing. With selective marketing, what we have the ability to do is change out statement inserts, or what we call statement onserts. So those advertising and marketing messages that you saw as part of the statement that are printed on the statement or displayed on the e-statements, those are onserts, where all of the materials that go in with the envelope on the paper statements or that are attached to the e-statements are statement inserts. The text-based statement messages that you're used to incorporating in your statements, those can be selective. So we can use all those different conditions that we talked about to trigger different messages. And when we talk about e-statements, we can display different banner ads with each e-statement, and I'll show you examples of those for different groups of account holders. And that's one way that we can incorporate live links as well. And obviously, even the statement layout itself can change. So we can have a different layout for a business account statement, as an example, versus a consumer account. So we'll go through those non-selective options first when we talk about envelope backprinting. If you've ever tried to open an envelope without looking at the back side, I challenge you to do that. It's very awkward. And a lot of times the back of the envelope is blank, but the back of that envelope can be used as a billboard. It's really inexpensive. We charge, I think it's $11.50 per 1,000 envelopes to print a graphical ad on the back of your statement envelopes. It's very, very inexpensive. We even send out a series of stock designs each quarter to our clients that they can pick from. We can always custom design these backer ads, or you can supply your own. But it's something to take advantage of. Just realize that it's a non-selective option. Every account holder is going to receive it. But for that very reason, it's a great place to promote e-statements, because your e-statement members are obviously not going to receive a paper envelope. So they might as well receive an e-statement advertisement on that envelope. We can, by the way, and I should have indicated that before, have different combinations of onserts and inserts for e-statement members versus traditional paper statement members. So you can certainly promote e-statements as part of your paper statement, and then your e-statement members would either not see that advertisement or would receive a different promotion. The email notifications that we send out, to notify your account holders that their statements are available each month, those can be customized. So here's two examples, a shorter one and a longer message. These can be more graphical as well, but it's just a great way to not only inform an account holder that their latest statement is available, but also tell them a little bit about what's going on at your financial institution. That e-statement landing page, so when that statement recipient logs in to the site or clicks on the e-statement link from online banking, however they're accessing their e-statements, is a great way to promote one of your products and services. We showed it before with the ads for the mobile apps. Here's another example promoting auto loans. And we can even add video to these pages. So we can add video above the statement itself, or in this case on the page that lists all of the available statements for this particular individual. And one idea for you to consider is adding what we call a popover. In this case, we're showing, as a way to sign up for an electronic newsletter, but these are also great for compliance notifications. So if you need to make sure that everybody sees, or certain individuals see a specific disclosure or have access to a specific link, we can pop that up, call special attention and then make that account holder either click on a link or click on a close box so we can prove that they saw that required information. And then we'll jump into some of the more selective marketing options, and these can be non-selective as well. I mean, you can certainly incorporate an onsert or a statement ad and show it to all of your account holders, or again, we can selectively display these for different account holders. So with onserts, also called statement ads, you're no longer limited to short text-based messages. These can be highly graphical. We showed you how you can incorporate color. The same technology for these onserts enables us to show loan payment coupons, for members or account holders with loans. We can show rate grids, all sorts of different things. We have an online catalog of ads that you can select from. You can design them yourself, or we can certainly custom design these for you just like the envelope backers. But to show you some examples of what these look like in black and white, you can see 3 of them here. A more kind of general-based home equity loan advertisement, a personalized skip-a-pay form, and we actually produce these for this particular customer. We actually populate the name and account number fields so these onserts can be personalized. And then the onsert on the right is for a specific promotion that this client was running at the time. And again, remember that on your e-statements, these onserts are going to can appear in full color, and you can see the difference that makes on the page. They really jump out, something for you to consider, and there's no additional cost to display this onsert in color on the e-statements. These onserts can be any size. There's numerous positions we can put them in. So one thing that several of our customers utilize on an occasional basis is to actually incorporate a full-page cover letter with their statements. So in this case, what you're seeing is a skip-a-pay campaign that was delivered as the first page of this account holder's statement, with the rest of the statement appearing in subsequent pages behind it. Skip-a-pays are certainly a good use for this. They can be used for pre-screen campaigns. They can be used for referral campaigns. They can be a welcome letter for a new account holder from the CEO, with their first statement. All sorts of different reasons why you might want to incorporate a cover letter with your statement. And we're not talking adding a huge increase in cost. Typically what we see is the cost to include or laser print an additional page on a paper statement is about 4 to 5 cents. So it's certainly less expensive than sending out an additional letter. So combining with your statements is a huge cost savings, and again, it's showing that member or that account holder that you know about them. This is an example of how we deliver inserts with our electronic statements. You're all used to incorporating inserts, newsletters, and privacy policies, and all sorts of different, offers with your paper statements. We do the same thing with our electronic statements, only instead of inserting those in the same envelope, we display them as banner ads. So these would link to PDFs or web pages, online applications, online calculators, all sorts of different uses for these. And these can be selective as well. So these banner ads that you're seeing here can be shown to all of your account holders or can be shown just to specific ones. The fifth benefit that we have of utilizing Transpromo marketing is the ability to upsell, cross-sell, and drive revenue opportunities. Transpromo is highly effective at this because it can be so pinpoint specific. It allows us to take advantage of very specific cross-sell and upsell opportunities and even support existing rewards programs as an example. All of the examples that I showed so far regarding these onserts and inserts and different things were really intended to support just one promotion for 1 month or 1 quarter. But we can utilize Transpromo statement marketing in a more intelligent fashion. We can develop marketing campaigns, statement-based marketing campaigns that you set up and you let run over a period of, several months and even up to a couple of years. I'll show you advantage of those to take advantage of special opportunities and really, take your statements and turn them into true one-to-one marketing campaigns. So some ideas for you to consider is to have an effective strategy of welcoming new account holders, right? Of thanking, account holders for paying off a loan or getting close to paying off a loan. Look at auto loan recapture possibilities. So an account holder has an auto loan as an example for, maybe they've had the loan for 36 months, and through our history, we know that that's the time that account holders may begin to start looking for another automobile. Maybe we start telling them that about the latest auto offers, or letting them know that they're pre-screened, for their next loan with your institution. Wish account holders a happy birthday. If they have a birthday coming up in the month that they just received their statement, it's a great place to take advantage of that. Loan payment coupons, which I'll show you. If you're still sending out separate payment books and adjusting, especially HELOC type coupons, if the prime rate were to change, consider incorporating those into your monthly and quarterly account statements. We've already talked about it, but certainly showing a summary of rewards points or merchandise they can redeem for rewards, all sorts of different things like that can be done with your statements. If you have separate mortgage services or investment services or insurance services, you can certainly promote those with your statements, and again, identify specific individuals or groups of people to receive those messages. Your business account can have different combinations of advertising than your personal accounts. If you're growing by merger or acquisition, considering incorporating, welcome messages and different messages to those individuals. We'll show you some examples of that as well. And for credit unions, if you're adding new select employee groups, it may be an option for you to welcome, those employees as well. So really, let's take advantage of these different cross-sell opportunities. Here are just a few examples. That the top two are designed by our customers, and I like to use them because they're fairly small institutions, especially the top one. They just have a very simple happy birthday message, but their members love receiving those because, again, it shows that this particular institution really cares and recognizes the fact, that they can celebrate with those individuals. The bottom ad here, the bottom insert, is an example of one of those loan payment coupons that I was talking about. So while these inserts can be used, for advertising and promotion and marketing purposes, they can also be used for operational purposes. If there's a specific disclosure perhaps that you need to incorporate, or in this case, we're taking information out of the statement and using it to populate a separate loan payment coupon, making it much easier for the account holder to respond, cut that off the bottom of the statement, send it in with their check. And account holders really look for those, month after month. Another option for you to consider is a matrix-based statement campaign. So for those of you with formal onboarding campaigns as an example, that's an example of a matrix-based campaign. With a matrix-based campaign, what we're doing is sending out a series of statement inserts over a period of several months or quarters to cross-sell additional products or services to specific groups of account holders. These can be new account holders, so an onboarding type program. These can be mergers. This might be for a new branch location. You opened a new branch and wanted to, increase penetration of products at that new branch. Maybe you expanded your field of membership. All sorts of different opportunities, even opportunities for indirect lending. Maybe you have a separate type of matrix campaign for indirect lending. These multiple, we have the ability to run multiple matrices at the same time, so we can have a predetermined marketing campaign set for new account holders, one for new indirect members, and one for, maybe that new branch, all running at the same time. Here's an example of what one of our customers uses as part of their matrix-based, their statement-based matrix campaign. These are all inserts that print at the bottom of the first page of the statement. What I like what this credit union does is that each of those black boxes that you're seeing on the e-statements, those reversed out areas, are a special offer. So there's an offer for a free gift, an offer for a free box of checks, and even offers for discounted loan rates and things like that. The sixth benefit of Transpromo marketing is giving you that ability to turn a cost center into a profit center. And everybody laughs at me when I say that, but it's Transpromo marketing, especially very selective marketing, does have that effect. We can take that statement and make it into a profitable marketing venture for you. So one final idea that I want to share with you, and something for you to consider, we've talked about those statement letters. Well, here's an example of how we can use those cover letters with a pre-screen loan campaign. So we have relationships with all of the credit bureaus where we can go out and credit qualify your existing account holders for different loan offers. Take the first page of that statement and print or display on the e-statements, a pre-screened credit offer. The one on the right, or the one on the left, is obviously for an auto loan, with the one on the right being for a home equity loan. You can do this a couple times a year potentially, and generate substantial income, again, from your statements without having to send out a separate direct mail piece for those account holders. So to get started, we have obviously the tools and expertise to help you leverage these options, all of these different Transpromo marketing options. Our experts from our marketing people all the way to our statement programmers can work with you to identify those goals that you have for your statements, take a look at your data sources, recommend new ones when it comes to demographics and psychographics and pre-screened credit data and those types of things, and put it all together for you and help really turn those statements into effective marketing campaigns. That's all I have for you. So I am here certainly to answer additional questions. Please feel free to type them into the GoToMeeting toolbar, and I'll answer them. But thank you very much for attending today. I apologize for my voice. But, it was certainly a pleasure meeting with you, and feel free to contact me offline with any questions as well.